Hello and welcome everyone to part 6 of the Honda Accord restoration series. So in today's video we're gonna be taking out the steering rack and possibly rebuilding it. As you guys seen in the previous episode, we replaced the clutch of this car. Nope, not really. Anyway, now we're filming in the middle of that episode because we're gonna take advantage of the emptiness that we have here. Since we took out the transmission, we have more room to move under there. So we're gonna be removing also the steering rack and making a rebuild on it. So let's get straight to work. We're gonna start by removing the exhaust because it's in the way. 3 bolts on the front side and 3 in the rear, and the middle pipe will be out. Okay guys, so now with the exhaust out of the way, it's time to remove the pipes that goes into the steering rack. We have 4 pipes here. You're gonna be removing them. Make sure you get yourself a drain pan because some oil is gonna get down. This one is a 14 millimeter. Okay, so not much oil got drained, but well, our system was dead already from way too long and the pump was disconnected, so that's expected. This one is a 17 millimeter. This is the biggest one and the hardest one to unbolt. So now we got everything disconnected. All the lines that are coming into the steering rack have been disconnected. So now we're gonna be unbolting the steering rack itself. Okay guys, so to remove the steering linkage from the steering rack, there is this cover that holds on with 3 plastic nuts. As you can see these here, we took them out. Over here, one down there and one up there. Then all we gotta do is pop this puppy out, just like that. And you reveal the steering linkage and the coupling here. All you gotta do is to remove this 10 millimeter bolt down there, and the steering linkage will be free from the steering rack. Okay guys, so what you do is you turn the wheel all the way to the left Or in other words, pull out the right side, the passenger side tie rod all the way out, as if you're turning the wheel to the left. Then to release this, you need to pry it from here, pry it between the subframe and the body of the car, down, and pull on it this way, to the passenger side, while prying it down, and then it comes free from the steering shaft, and you have enough room to remove the tie rod from the pocket that it has. Then you slide it out just as we showed you. So the astronauts that fixed this steering rack before used zip ties. We ourselves are astronauts, so we're gonna be reusing zip ties. Now with the steering rack out, we cleaned it a little bit. Now it's time for the rebuilding to begin. Just like that, we removed the inner tie rod with the outer tie rod as one assembly, so we don't have to never see that again. So we don't have to mess with the alignment next time when we put it back together. Okay guys, so here we are removing the other side. Never see that again. Once again. Just like that. We got used to dropping stuff on the ground. Now we're gonna start by taking out the valve body of the system here, just to move it out of the way and see what's under it. Never see that again. Now, make sure, guys, that you do not drop the valve body on the ground. We dropped it on purpose to show you what not to do. Now we are removing the top plate of the pinion. It's only 4 10mm bolts. Now we are removing the preload plate, which sets the preload of the pinion on the axe, where it has these gears, where it meshes with it. So it sets the preload between the mesh of the gears. Now, the mesh between the pinion and the axe is free. Now you can remove the pinion out. Okay guys, so to remove the pinion, there are 3 different C-clamps. This one here, and 2 on the bottom, a small one and a bigger one. So we need to remove those 3, and then the pinion can be dropped out. Just like that, you got the pinion out. Now we are removing the 4 bolts that hold the 2 housings, 2 tubes together. Moving them to separate the tubes from each other. Now we are pulling the axe out. Okay, guys, so now that we got everything disassembled, here are the culprits that are making this steering rack leak. We have 3 O-rings, rubber O-rings. This one that goes over here, and these 2 that goes on the coupling here. So we're gonna be removing them, getting us a new ones, then putting it back together. Of course, after cleaning everything up. So here is the seal that sits in here. This is one of the culprits also. This is what was leaking along with these 3 O-rings. So as you saw us, we pushed this spring out with this plastic thing that holds it in. Anyway, there's another seal in here we need to push out. This is the outer side. Here it is. Guys, so all this mess, we turned down the whole steering rack for this couple of O-rings and seals. So we're gonna get ourselves new one of those and slap it back together after cleaning everything out. Okay guys, so we got ourselves a rebuild kit for the steering rack. These are all the seals that we'll need. The first one is the old one, new ones, and old ones. So the middle ones are the new ones. So we're gonna be slapping in all the new seals and it will be perfect. So the snap ring sits on the bottom side, this side, and O-ring also, which we're gonna install after we slip the snap ring down. This snap ring holds this slidey thingy, so it won't back out. Make sure you lube everything up. Every seal that you put in, you must lube for it to survive. So what you do is you drop the seal from the open end and then guide it with your finger to sit in its seat. Okay guys, so now it's time to install the plastic retainer. So the long side goes towards the seal. We install it first before the spring here. Like that, we press it in. Then we drop the spring on top of it. Just like that. Now install the outer ring. Sure you lube everything up. Make sure you grease every metal to metal contact part, like this tube where it goes sliding in, press fit into the other tube. Okay guys, so now it's time to install the axe of the steering rack back in place. Make sure you grease this up. Now it's time to drop the axe in place. So guys, it can be installed in both ways, but this way is a little bit softer on the seal that we installed. Okay guys, so if you remember the spring that we installed earlier, the one that we dropped in, it's pushing outwards on these two pieces. This is why you're gonna need to tighten it with the bolts. So we're gonna be tightening it in a crisscross pattern to we compress it evenly. Guys, so after greasing the worm gears on the pinion shaft, you install it back in place. Just like that. Now setting in the other C-clip. This one is on the other side. They make some special tools for this stuff, but well, you can do it normal tools also. Now to drop the tensioner of the pinion. This only drops in one way, as you can see, for the pin and for the hoses here. Passages, anyway. Okay guys, so now it's time to set in the tie rods. After tightening the tie rods, don't forget to bend up the retainer plate. Now we're setting in the other side of the tie rods. As you can see, Now it's time for the astronauts to go to work. Now we're gonna put the other boot back in. There you have it, folks. This is how to rebuild a steering rack. Showed you step by step and a complete guide on how to do it yourself. It's not hard. You can do it with ease. Anyway, that's the job of today. We're gonna catch you tomorrow in the morning when we install it in the car. Okay guys, so it's the next day here. Now we're gonna start installing the steering rack. Now, the same way that we removed it, you simulate a left turn by turning the pinion all the way to the left, which pulls in the driver's side tie rods and pushes out the passenger side. So we're gonna put it by setting in the passenger side and pushing it all the way out. While lifting the steering rack back in place, make sure you line it with the steering linkage inside of the car. Now after bolting in the steering rack, it's time to connect back the pressure lines. Okay guys, so it's the next day here, and after we installed the steering rack, we noticed that the exhaust has a little bit of a leak here, as you can see. So we're gonna fire up the welder and weld it in. Okay guys, so with that done, we completely assembled the car back together. We got the steering rack installed and the linkage is installed. Everything turns perfectly. Anyway, we can't test it out yet because we still have to rebuild the power steering pump. So stay tuned for the next video. We're gonna be tackling it and showing you how to rebuild your power steering pump on your 1986 to 89 Honda Accord. With that being said, this is gonna be the end of today's video. Make sure you subscribe, comment down below. Of course, like the video. See you on the next one. Peace.